Hi and welcome along to the All Guns Blazing podcast. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to you, mate.
Happy New Year, man.
Good. You know, I was just laughing, right? And you see, you're lucky. I'm a different type of guy to you.
What?
I'm a different type of guy to you, yeah? Remember how you was running up your mouth about the football. Mm-mm. And obviously we've had to keep it quiet because
I still have
series,
to
keep... Wait a minute, let me finish. The series is the one where we played each other. That just came out yesterday. If you haven't watched it, check it out. The Blood Brothers series, I've got to say, well done to the guys who've put it all together. It's been absolutely superb so far. The way it tells all the stories and stuff like that, it's brilliant, right? But that game, the first game, is out there. And who won? Who won?
Stoke City.
Between your team and our team, who won?
Stoke City.
You're bad mind, you know.
No. Listen,
why can't you just sometimes take it?
Wait.
Can't you take it?
Wait. Just listen. Now let me speak for a second, yeah? It's a bit unfair bringing this up right now because I can't answer you. Because for people that don't realise, yeah, we're already in the final. The final, let's just make this clear for everyone, all right? You do realise that's back to front. Just helping him out there, you know what I mean? People that don't realise, the final is next Sunday, the 12th of January. I'm sure Robbie will put a link for tickets in the bio of this, will you? Or
yeah, we can do, yeah.
Can do for everyone that wants to come along. Now, there's still one game left. AFTV still have to play one more game to decide whether they play us in the final. It's between them and United Stand. So I can't really get too involved because it'll give too much away. So fair play, you beat us on the day. It was a poor performance by us, the worst performance we've ever had. The occasion got to us a bit. I think the game in general was poor.
You lot were poor, yeah.
I think that I think both teams were poor. I think that we lowered
we were poor.
I think that we lowered ourselves to your level. I think that at the same time it was more of a fight than a game. But sometimes you need to lose.
Listen, I want you guys to watch the game. We should have won it by about 5-0. We hit the post. We hit the bar.
He's talking rubbish.
Watch it.
You only need to. I'll tell you what I need you to watch. I'll tell you what you need to. Get me started now. I'll tell you what you lot need to watch as well. You need to watch the fact that they should have had a red card in the first 10 minutes.
A yellow card.
No. Now we've watched the actual footage back.
That was a yellow card.
It's a red card.
It's not a red card. It's a yellow card.
It's a red card. It's a blatant red card.
He can't take it.
Also, just after we conceded the first goal, we should have had a penalty, and it's now being cleared with the video evidence that it was a penalty.
What penalty?
But the referee decided it was a free kick on the edge of the box.
It was a free kick.
It was a penalty. It was a penalty.
And Kieran, you've been telling me about the great Kieran and all the free kicks.
Hey, listen.
That free kick, right, was as bad as
Yeah,
Fred's.
I know.
That was as bad as Fred's.
Yeah, but Kieran took his
Monday
first.
against Man United.
Yeah, but Kieran took his first.
Listen, let me talk now.
No.
Let me talk because
No, because I'm just going to say one thing, right? Listen, at the end of the day, free kicks, it happens. Kieran's still top goal scorer in the whole series.
Let me tell you something, yeah?
So, there you go.
When you dish it out, be able to take it.
Hey, I dish it out with you.
Stop making excuses.
No problem with you.
Wait,
I got no problem with you.
Listen, I'm saying to you now, you got slapped up. We should have beaten you by more. Right, we should have beaten you by more. You know that, right?
Carry on.
Right, and you lost. And I remember you was coming on these shows.
Come on.
What are you gonna do? Where you gonna go? How's that trip gonna go when we're together? When I beat you?
Remember all of this was provocation from you lot first. So don't worry, when this is all finished, the unseen footage will come out. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. I don't mind.
Please start learning to take things.
Listen,
start learning to take it.
Listen, all I can say is, yeah, you and your players, right? You reached that final in 9 days' time. I'll tell you something, yeah. Running your mouths. Running your mouths as much as you are now.
You started it. You man. We ended it.
Listen, there ain't no ending. Listen. You mans lighting up sparklers in the changing rooms like
what
you just
you drinking champagne?
What are you
taking your guys out and drinking champagne?
What are you going on about?
With these little white glasses, right?
Wait, hold on a minute. Let's get something straight here, yeah?
You drink champagne.
No. Let's get something straight here, yeah?
What are you drinking champagne for?
Absolutely nobody there was celebrating before anyone had played United after United Stand or AFTV. We had a 4-week break between United Stand and playing you. We had been playing every single week, all through pre-season. And I turned around to the lads and I said, you know what, instead of doing 3 training sessions and playing a couple of friendly matches, I said, let's have a Wednesday night off. Let's go out, let's go and relax, let's go and let our hair down, and let's just have a team night out. Yeah, have a team night out. You would know about that if you actually looked after your team, but they've been begging you to take them for a team night out for about 2 years.
I'll take them out when they win.
Okay, yeah.
Although we have won a couple of tournaments.
Okay.
Anyway, let's talk about the football, which was Arsenal.
Yeah, because you've just wasted about 10 minutes of the podcast.
The era. Yeah, I've wasted it now, eh?
Yeah.
But if you would have won, you wouldn't have heard the end of it.
Nothing,
and that's what I said,
can't.
you've been going on about it on this podcast. That's the only reason I brought it up, because you kept going on about it. But anyway, let's talk about Mikel Arteta. Yeah? And the 3 games since he's come in. Not bad, is he? Bournemouth, Chelsea and Manchester United. Manchester United, it was brilliant. Drew against Bournemouth. Lost to Chelsea, and of course
beat Man United.
Beat Manchester United.
Nah.
First of all, before we start talking about that Man United game, what have you made of Mikel Arteta so far?
Very, very, very impressed.
I mean, let's just first
go to the Bournemouth game.
Did you want him in the beginning? Be honest.
It wasn't that I wanted him. I was very cautious, very sceptical. I felt that given the situation we were in, and I said this to you, I said I had reservations, and I don't think that there's an Arsenal fan out there who can hand on heart honestly say that they didn't have reservations. You know, he's never managed before. Yes, he may have been under Pep Guardiola for 3 years or so, but in other podcasts you've sat there and said to me about assistants that were, you know, Paul to great Clement managers and they were never able to carry that on.
Carlos Queiroz at Man United.
You know, so there was that skeptical side and that, you know, side to say, well, we're not in a great place. It's not like he's taken over a team that's doing well. It's been left in a good position. Everyone's happy. The fan base is united.
He's taken over a club in crisis.
Yeah, it was like a sinking ship. And so that's why you had to have your reservations. But like with anything, you start to watch things unfold and you get to see things. And you get to see whether, you know, ideas are being implemented. And within the first game, you know, remember, go back to the press conferences. He blew everyone away with his first press conference. Even people that were very, I don't want him, we'll go in. You know what? That was a bloody good interview. Fair play.
Impressive.
But now you've got to you show it within.
Yeah, it was like
okay.
Because I remember it was like his impressive, very impressive press conference. Said all the right things, you know.
But
people,
now it's got to transpire within the side.
I want to see work. Or this is, and I'm not going to compromise on that. And then there was the training videos where he's saying no flicks and this and that. And as I said to somebody, I'm like, that is brilliant, but they ain't going to show if he messed up in that training either, would they?
Yeah, of course. And
so, like you said, everybody's looking at it and saying, all right.
Yeah,
sounds
and
good.
It was all right.
But what you're going to show us now?
It was what you're going to show. And then we went into the Bournemouth game. There was a few surprises in the team lineup, should we say. Reece Nelson starting over Pepe, I suppose, was one where you kind of went, that's a bit of a bold one. But I looked at that performance and, we should have won.
And that was the first game that we came out of for a very long time.
Where we were like,
said, where we came out and we said, you know what, we should have won that game.
Yeah. We're lucky to get a point there. But we actually come out with a positive side. There was a kind of like, you know what, there was some decent bits. But then obviously...
and we had enough chances to win it.
And obviously there is still that sceptical side which will go, it's only Bournemouth. They're not in a great place at the moment. They've got a lot of injuries. Maybe we should have actually won that game. So there is that side that does say, let's look at who you're facing. The real test was coming up against Chelsea. And for 80 odd minutes, I thought our game plan worked perfectly. Now, hindsight's a wonderful thing. And I know that when we come out after, you know, immediately after games and we give interviews and stuff 5 minutes after, you kind of go off what you've seen live. You ain't had a chance to watch replays and take it all in and kind of stuff. And a lot of people, including myself and yourself, were saying about how, you know, Chelsea dominated the second half and we was on the back foot. And I agreed with that. But then I went and watched it and I was like, do you know what? up until the 80th minute from half time, Chelsea done nothing.
No, I actually said...
They had a lot of the ball. Listen,
I actually said that after the game. I was saying that too, because people were coming out and when I was doing interviews, they were saying, they dominated us. I was saying, no, they didn't. Actually, how I broke down the game straight after was 2 costly mistakes.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Because we were defending they had the ball, but we were defending brilliantly, and we were trying to set up counter-attacking football. And then Leno inexplicably makes that massive error, which we didn't cuss him for because he's been so good for us.
9 times out of 10, he'll push that away.
But he made a massive error, and then there was a comedy of errors for the final goal, because obviously I think we're trying to push to win the game rather than what we should in hindsight have done. We should have just made sure we didn't lose the game. We're pushing to win the game and get caught with all our players high up the pitch.
Do you know what?
Gives the defenders a problem. Mustafi backs off. And
can I just say, with that second goal, I've looked at it, and these are little things that we need to learn, and these are part of our old habits that we need to get out of the system, and they're parts that Mikel Arteta has already alluded to. At Manchester City and Liverpool are the best at it. When a team breaks on the edge of your box, they bring you down. They'll make cynical fouls. We played Man City only 3 weeks or so ago, and they did it to us. Every time we try breaking, little tug, stop your momentum, break the play. The only time I've ever seen Arsenal do that this season was against Crystal Palace in the last minute, and Sahar went to break and Guendouzi rugby tackled him. Took the yellow card. You foul in your own half, you can't get sent off.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a yellow. Take the yellow. It gave us a chance to build up, get the defence back in. Crystal Palace weren't able to go on and win the game. But yet, if Guendouzi wouldn't have done that, Sahar was through.
Yeah.
Right? So I look at that situation, right? And I look at the player. Tammy Abraham is not a player that's going to dribble round 3-4 players. He's got electric pace like a Hudson-Odoi or someone like that. He was well in our half, right? And you could see Guendouzi initially turn round and put his arms up to everyone, say, what are you doing? Like, why is no one pushing on him? Behind Mustafi was David Luiz, so we had cover there. It was actually 4-5 against 3 in our favour, so the numbers weren't bad. The problem was that Mustafi should have gone up tight to him. What he should have done, clean him out. Take the yellow card, clean him out.
Yeah, he should have done.
When he backed off initially and Abraham's turned, then he never done it the first time. He should have then at that point gone, right, now go. Get into his face, bring him down. Luiz is behind me. I'm not last man. Remember that. It's about awareness and game management. Get into him, bring him down, job done. He didn't. He backed off and he backed off and he backed off to the point where you now can't bring him down because it's a dangerous free kick or a penalty. Silly little things like that. If that was Man City...
I also think, though, and Graham broke it down very well in that in the Tactical Insight show. He said also, if you look at the positioning of the Arsenal players on that goal, right? So whilst everybody was having a go at Mustafi, and yes, he should have done better, he should have brought him down and that, but he shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. It's because everybody had pushed on, that like Saka was in the box.
Yeah.
Guendouzi was in the box. All of the midfield was forward in the box.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Now, so as soon as we lost the ball now, they had a 2-on-2 situation. Yeah. And that is where we went wrong. And that, you always need that one protector in front of the back four that's going to stay there, because if that was Man City... Willock was in the box. He was in the box. Everybody had pushed, and that's the old Arsenal. That's the old Arsenal.
That's naive.
And obviously they wanted to win the game so desperately. That's probably why they did that.
Yeah. Old
and no
habits
doubt,
die young, don't they? That's what they say, isn't it? But if that was Man City, you would have had Fernandinho sat in front, and you can guarantee he would have brought him down.
Yeah.
And if Fernandinho wouldn't have brought him down, then the likes of Otamendi or whoever's behind him would have absolutely wiped him out. Yeah. And then they would have said, right, take the yellow card, regroup. They ain't winning the game.
Yeah. But we lost that game. And again, when fans came out and I was interviewing them after the game,
everyone was okay.
Fans were quite positive. They were like, they were gutted. Obviously, we'd lost to Chelsea. But they were quite positive about the performance because we stood toe to toe. It wasn't like, I think people need to also remember the sort of performances we've been seeing all season from Arsenal. Even when we've won games, we've come out of there thinking, you know what, on another day, that could have been a draw, or we might have lost it. Even when we've drawn games, a lot of those draws, we come out there thinking relieved that we got a draw. Yeah. Because we were so poor.
Yeah.
But was a performance in that game.
That was an encouragement.
It was an energetic.
Signs.
There was a lot of effort, and now we then go into the game against Man United. Now you're looking at it and you're thinking, even though Arteta's got a tune out of them in those 2 games, is only 1 point from those games.
Yeah,
we're looking like near the bottom now.
Yeah,
I mean, if we lose this game,
we're in a mess.
We're in big trouble, because even a lot of the teams that were right down the bottom, they'd all won. Even Villa had won at Burnley, and
Watford
had won. And you think to yourself, hey, you know
Southampton have gone above us.
Southampton have gone. And you're thinking to yourself, hey, you know what? This is
This is bad.
Even though he's got a great start, but we lose to United tonight. And let's remember, Manchester United, they've gone away and beaten City. They've drawn with Liverpool this season. The only team to, get a point off of Liverpool. They've beaten everybody in it up the top there. They've beaten Tottenham. They've beaten Chelsea. They've got a great record against like the so-called top 6, right?
But we're not top 6, so that's probably why they failed.
But they've got a great record against the top teams, the big teams, right? And their counter-attacking football, they've been excellent over the Christmas. They've been on a great run over the Christmas period, and you're thinking to yourself, this is a bit worrying, man. You know what I mean? You're thinking to yourself, Rashford, Martial, James up front, that counter-attacking, their speed, their quickness.
Listen,
if we ain't on it tonight...
What was the one game, Robbie, that I was confident with? I spoke to you before the game, and I kept telling you this was the one game I was the most confident about. Our record at the Emirates, we've now won 4 out of our last 5 in the Premier League at the Emirates.
Against United.
Yeah,
because remember we were on also. We're on
really
4 defeats in a row at home. Worst, I think, since 1959.
Worst at the Emirates.
Worse at the Emirates, worse since 1959.
But there was just something about this game, and I saw the cockiness of Manchester United fans, few in particular that we know very well. I watched your shows, and I watched them sitting on certain red sofas and running their mouth, and I was sitting there thinking, oh, my life. And I remember it last year. Do you remember when we done the... interview outside the Emirates with Flex, and we were trying to talk, and I think we had just lost out in France. Where did we play out in France? Rennes. And he was there. He's at the wheel, and he's laughing at us trying to talk, and he came out there with his tail between his legs, and it was the same. And it was just, I didn't get where this energy come from Man United fans. I was looking at some of the comments.
No, they're on a run. They're doing a lot better than we've been doing, haven't they?
But what some of the stuff I saw was that they were going to come and beat us 3-4-5-0. And I'm like, you're not Liverpool. You're not Man City. Where'd you get this energy from that you're some great, amazing team?
No, but they've been on a good run.
Yeah, you've been on a good run. But you've also gone to the likes of Watford in the last couple of weeks and lost there as well. So don't make out that you're some amazing, invincible side. At the end of the day, we're 2 shit sides that are having a shit season, and you should also realise that you're not any better than us. Just because you're, 4 points clear of us now, don't mean you're better than us. We're just having a horrendous season. You're having a horrendous season. Don't think you're going to turn up to the Emirates and beat us 3-4-0. It was men against boys. All these people that I was being told are going to tear us apart didn't do anything. I'm sure that the players went to training yesterday and they were emptying them out of their pockets. Rashford, what did he do? Nothing. Martial strutted around with his moody self. Daniel James, did he even play? You want to try and compare him to Pepe? You may as well just sent him back to Swansea. Luke Shaw, what was it Rance called him? A potato. Do you know what I mean? Like, Pepe turned him inside out. He took the jacket off the potato. Do you know what I mean? It's like absolutely annihilated them. Never felt threatened in that game in any way, shape or form.
Yeah, it's true.
And I felt that we game managed it perfectly because we burnt ourselves out. And what I like is the honesty of the players, because David Luiz after the game turned around and said, we ain't up to the fitness levels to have that kind of intensity for 90 minutes, like a Liverpool, like a Man City. They're not up to them levels. They're honest. They're being straight. Chelsea game, we went gun-ho. If we would have got that second or third goal like we should have done in the opening 20, 30 minutes, then it would have been fine. But at 1-0, we burnt ourselves out. The Man United game, I felt we never went fully at it for like a big spell. It was like, we'll have a go, take a breather, have a go, take a breather. It was conservative. We reserved our energy right. Crucial to get a second goal before half-time. went in at half-time, come back out, and we basically sat there, and it was very un-Arsenal-like, because what we would have done in previous years is go, let's go and get a third goal. Let's go and attack. And we'll leave ourselves open to concede a goal, and Man United are back in the game. But we turned around and went, go on then, break us down, go on. And when we had to, we broke. And with the final pass being a little bit better,
we could have had more goals.
We would have had more goals.
We should have had more goals.
We played it perfectly. And the best way of summing it up, I went into the last 10 minutes against Chelsea, 1-0, and I was on edge. I was nervous. I got no fingernails left. I'm all over the place because you're just thinking, last 10 minutes against Man United, I was leaning back on my chair and I was standing there, I was like, it's all right, innit? I never worried in any way. I was just calm. I was just sat there like, they ain't going to do nothing. What are you going to do? It was just so relaxed because we'd broke their spirit.
Yeah.
It looked like even in that last 10, they realised they couldn't.
Of course, Pepe.
You
know, we bought this guy for £72 million. He's been in out. He's not really featured much.
Where are all those presents? Where are those presents? Are they in here? Because I know they were in this office when he was done the picture of presents, weren't it? And it was, listen, look, I said to you, the guy's going to take time to adapt. He's in a new league. It's a completely different league. He's playing in a different system to what he played out in France. New language, you name it. And the most important point is he's actually played under 3 managers. 3 managers in his first season. But now we've got a manager that looks like he knows what he's going to get out of these players.
And he showed a lot of quality in the game, Pepe, didn't he?
A lot of quality.
You know, he took his goal well, right? Because, you know that goal, I was saying, a lot of people might have tried to take a touch first.
Yeah, or he might have snatched it.
Yeah, he just hit it first time, boom. So clean, right? The one where he hit the post, that
beautiful.
Was brilliant, man. I mean, because he'd been shoved off balance, then he got back and he bent it round. He was so unlucky with that.
Really unlucky.
And then one of the other things that I could never wonder why Emery weren't putting him in the team is that this guy is very, very good on set pieces from corners. Watch Nicolas Pepe's corners.
How many times does he get?
When Ozil takes them, he doesn't take corners as good as Pepe.
He's got he keeps them low.
Pepe whips them in low, man. He whips them in, and he invariably always gets it in on a sixpence. And he's, really does create good corners for the defenders to attack.
It's nice
for our players to attack. So
listen, you look at the Chelsea game, was a corner, our goal. You look at the second goal, and it makes you realise why we were so infuriated at all the times under Emery when we were taking short corners. Constantly. We're sitting there like, come on, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's another thing. I mean, the corners are actually getting whipped in. Whereas Emery, I mean, there were so many good performances in that game. David Luiz, where's that? That's like
absolutely immense.
When a new signing,
it was immense.
Against Chelsea as well. He played and against Bournemouth. Where's that been?
Do you know what it is? A lot of these players, right? I would compare it to Space Jam. Do you remember the film? When they took his powers. They took all his his talent away.
The Michael Jackson film?
Space Jam with Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, the cartoon one.
And then they take his they take his talent.
Yeah.
And then he can't play basketball. And it was like someone had took these players' talent, and they couldn't play football anymore. And then now all of a sudden they've been given their talent back.
Yeah, because David Luiz, I mean,
Socrates, the pair of them look like a solid centre back pairing. Like
Torreira.
Look, listen, we've known about Torreira and what he can do in that position. It's amazing I'm still shocked that he's not really a number 10. It's like, who would have known? Who would have thought, He's a defensive midfielder.
You really have to wonder to yourself, because we were all there watching games week in, week out. I mean, this is when I talk about fans, right? And people would be quick to jump on fans and say, you lot. Fans were saying all season, there was certain things they were saying about Emery. That's one of them. Why don't you play Torreira as a defensive midfielder? That's what he's good at. That's what he's great at. I remember there was one game where we were all saying, look when he played the other day for Uruguay against Argentina. He played brilliantly against Messi. He comes back to England. He's playing as literally behind the 2 attackers. He was playing out on the right-hand side. He was playing out. We couldn't understand what was going on.
Did you see Unai Emery's interview last week? Yeah. And what he turned around and said, he said that he told Raul Sanelli and all that he didn't want to go and see the players as a collective and say his goodbye. He said that they should come to the office and say goodbye. Yeah. Every player went to say goodbye to him apart from Lucas Torreira.
Although he did say Torreira did get in contact with him before you made trouble.
But I'm just saying that he's... I think Lucas Torreira is buzzing that he's gone. He's
look at his performances since he's gone.
I think Mesut Ozil's buzzing he's gone.
Look at Mesut. So again, that's another one where we said... The other one was we said all season, play Ozil just behind the attackers. Yeah. They played him on the right. They play him on the left. They play him on the... Play him that we all know there. He's effective. That's all Arteta's done. He's restored him back to his...
Who covered the most who covered the most ground out of any Arsenal player?
Out of any player on the pitch.
11K.
Out of any player on the pitch. And he was doing some sublime passes. And the other thing what you've got to credit Arteta for is when I see this man closing down, tackles that... Ozil.
Hey,
I ain't seen that.
I told you he could do it. I said he had it in it.
Why wasn't he doing it before? You also got to ask yourself the question, because
game management.
Have they sort of, did they shove Emery under the bus a bit as well? All right, I know he's been playing them out of positions and that, but why weren't they working like that under Emery?
Maybe because they weren't being coached in that way to do that. It looked like they were not being coached at times when you saw what was going on. You look at the distance covered, the most distance covered by the whole team, our top two performances in the whole of this season have been our last two games. Bournemouth was, I think, 4th on the list. 3rd was a game that Freddie was in charge of. So Unai Emery's not even in the top 4 of distance covered for the players. The fact that the players are turning around and saying openly, we're not fit enough to play this style that Mikel wants us to play right now. We will be, but now we're not. Makes you question what they've been doing for the last 6 months. Year and a half. What they've been doing, because we've all seen videos and, it's like we've heard that Emery's putting them through their paces. Yeah.
Wasn't working, and the other thing is as well, it's all about bringing the best out of players, And Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
Oh, mate, listen, I'll tell you something. I'll put
outstanding.
hand on heart, man. Listen, I was one of the ones that I've turned around and said he's not good enough. He's not good enough. He's been given an opportunity at right back and he's not taken it. He walks around the pitch like he's just bun a spliff. And it's just... but he does, because he has that kind of... That kind of attitude. It's not disrespectful. It's just that's the only comparison you could say. It's like a man's just bun a spliff. But he had so many chances in that position, and we were right to criticise him. Everyone's been right to criticise him, because even the most positive fans were sitting there a month or so ago going, can't wait for Hector to come back. Can't wait for Hector to come back.
Let me tell you something. If he continues playing like that,
Hector ain't getting in.
Hector don't get back.
Hector ain't getting in. No, he's not getting in.
And I've also, been a big critic of Ainsley over there, because I love the fact that this guy's come through the ranks. And what was annoying me about Ainsley is when I hear him talking about, in my midfield, I don't like playing there and that. And I'm like, I wish I knew the guy. Well, I was his mate or something where I could just get hold of him and say, yo, Ainsley, you're in Arsenal's football team. You're in the first team. Yeah. Week in, week out at the moment. Forget about midfield now. This is your position, right back here. Make it yours. Yeah. Just like what Wan-Bissaka did, just like what other players have done in the past, where you started off being another position, but this has, come to you. Just make it yours. And what I've seen over the last 3 games, if he continues that, Bellerin don't get back for me.
I don't know whether
Bellerin doesn't get back in if he plays like that.
Yeah, maybe Mikel Arteta has had a word with him, because it sounds...
I reckon, to me, it seems like Arteta's said to him, this is your position now. You need to make this your position, or
there's nothing.
You could be like under 23s or gone.
Yeah, because there ain't no midfield position for you right now. This is what you're doing.
But against Manchester United, he was brilliant.
Even against Chelsea, the only thing he's got to work on is his final delivery. Yeah, and a couple of sloppy passes here or there where he gets a bit
And he was so
careless,
much more disciplined in those games.
Much better. And
concentrated.
We play our right backs very differently. Arteta, and I alluded to this point as to what Guardiola did with Kimmich and with Kyle Walker, and it's obviously something
when
that
they drop in, he was saying,
it's obviously something that Mikel Arteta has taken and learned, and it seems to be because he technically does play as a midfielder when he drifts in, so it's kind of getting best of both worlds. And maybe it's benefiting him, and the fact that there seems to be a work rate from the players in front of him is also benefiting because he's not being exposed all the time. It's not like beforehand he would go forward and no one would drop in and we would get caught on the counter all the time. But now it's kind of game management. He goes, someone drops. It's like there's an understanding, and
there's a system.
There is.
And also, we've been talking about identity. That looked like a team that I could identify with, mate, over the last 3 games.
Listen, I've been watching some of the footage back and some of the movement, the passing out from the back. It's not there's still some moments where you're like, oh my God, you're going to kill me in a minute. But there's some moments where you're going, wow. And it's all about positioning because players are taking up different positions, different body angles. And all of a sudden, a pass that would normally put them into trouble and they're going, and they're panicking, all because of a difference of a position and a difference of a body shape, they've now got all the time in the world. Granit Xhaka, right?
That's another one.
He's a player.
That's another one.
He's a player. He's a player that we've sat and spoke about. Now, I've backed him more than anyone on AFTV. All right,
that's true.
Get that straight, right? But even I've sat there at times and gone, maybe the Premier League is just a bit too fast for him. Maybe the bridges have been burned with everything that happened, and I feel really sorry for him with some of the stuff that happened. And I look at every time he got the ball, it looked like he never had no time. Like he wanted time, but he didn't have the time. Do you know what I mean? And that's why it made you say, maybe the Premier League's just too fast for him. But then all of a sudden, the last couple of games, like the Bournemouth game and the Man United game, his positioning's changed, his body shape has changed. And now when he gets the ball, even when someone's pressing, it actually looks like he's got all the time in the world on the ball. And he can take his time and he can ping apart. Look at his passing over the last 2 games that he's played. He's picking up the ball.
He was missed in that
Chelsea game. Huge, because what he could do is that when we're not playing through the lines and we're trying to break those little presses here and there, he will ping a 40, 50-yard ball out wide. And 9 times out of 10, he'll pull it on the money.
But also what I noticed about him in the Chelsea game and that is that he's disciplined. So he was dropping back in when players were bombing on and stuff like that. He, and again, what Arteta's done basically is every single player so far, it's only 3 games, it's still very early, but he's improved every single player. Kolasinac the other day was brilliant against United. They couldn't deal with him. He was just running through them like butter.
It's like
a hot knife through butter.
It's like they're genuinely enjoying working for him.
Yeah, they're all playing for him. The work rate of Aubameyang, Lacazette,
the one thing that everyone's questioned,
they crawled off the pitch.
The one thing that everyone's questioned is Aubameyang's work rate. Everyone questions it. Even I've questioned it at times. I said, come on, Oba, you need to do more than just score goals. That wasn't enough out there. That guy is in left-back positions making tackles and covering and being a captain, showing leadership. Lacazette couldn't walk because he gave every ounce that his body could give.
So basically, at the moment, he's bringing the best out of it. And we've only 3 games, but he's bringing the best out of every player on that pitch.
And do you know what? Do you know what's key for me? It's very clear that Granit Xhaka had his eye on leaving in January. He was gone, done, finished.
That's the next thing I'm going to come to.
Well,
now, right?
Mikel Arteta has come out in his press conference and said, this is what I like, the transparency. There's no hiding. It's so un-Arsenal-like, because for years we've been sitting there like, fucking hell, man, I wish you'd just tell me what's going on. You're pissing me off. But Arteta's actually sat there and said, I've had a conversation with Granit Xhaka. I've told him what you mean to this team. And then they've said to him, has he told you he's going to stay? Now, in the past, you would have got a reply like, well, we might keep it between ourselves, or, well, you never know what happens. Football's a funny... Arteta's turned around and said, yes, he's told me he's staying. So we can go, all right, cool. Straight down the line.
And they did also push him on that and say... would you absolutely guarantee that? But I don't suppose you can never say.
You can never guarantee anything.
Aubameyang as well. That's another one.
He's another one. He's come out and said.
Arteta said. Well, he's come out and said, "I'm 100% here for now."
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah, but look.
At least he said.
But what I'll say,
he's 100% here.
and I've said this to everyone, is that if it gets to the end of this season and Oba doesn't want to sign a new contract, then I feel that the club are right to get rid of him then, because he's only got a year left. And if you're going to get a good amount of money for him and be able to replace him, then so be it.
You know, if you're going to sell him, you shouldn't sell him now, because in 12 months' time, he'd be worth significantly less.
Because we need him now, because he could be the difference between getting a Champions League place or not. And I'm not talking top four, I'm talking Europa League. He could be the difference. Yeah. You know, the guy's not having the greatest of seasons in terms of what's around him and everything. He's still the second top goal scorer in the Premier League. Come on, man. Jesus Christ, if Arteta can get these players firing how we can, and Aubameyang's going to absolutely bang goals for fun. But he's obviously seen something in the last couple of weeks to make him go, because, you know, Arteta's turned around and said about Oba, he's turned around and said, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Not this month. No way. He's not going.
What do you think then, because obviously we are in January, and just a quick plug here, make sure you check out.
Hi and welcome to Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with every player that Arsenal are not going to buy.
Transfer Daily's out, and listen, thank you. We've had a fantastic review. When you consider how many games and that we've had so far, the responses to the video has been brilliant as usual. So make sure you check that out every day of January. But what do we need?
Can I just say before that as well, when you're talking about responses of videos, about 700,000 views on my video from the Man United game was trending number 2 on YouTube.
Trending number 2. Troops was trending as well.
Did we lose?
Oh, come on.
Did we lose that game? Surely everyone only watched it.
As I said when I went on TalkSport, the myth of views only when we lose and stuff like that.
Surely nobody watched that to see me smile. Apparently, the only people that watch our channel are Man United fans anyway. So they wouldn't have been watching it. Well, do you know what that's about, Robbie?
Oh, my God.
Around the same kind of views as the Chelsea game, which we lost. Convenient. Yeah.
Listen, let them carry on.
I gave everyone an ultimatum a couple of weeks ago. And I said, if you want me off AFTV, stop watching my videos. When them videos go down to 0, I'll stop going on AFTV. Since then, my views have gone up.
So you got a fan club?
Yeah.
But
hey, DT fan club.
Is that what it stands for?
Fan club. You like it? Yes.
What do we need in January? Because Callum Chambers now, that's
defender.
the big bloke.
Callum
Chambers.
We need a defender.
The news come out, he's out for the rest of the season, 6 to 9 months. I really feel sorry for that guy.
Gutted for him.
Because one of the few players that even under Emery could hold his head up and say, you know, I've done all right this season. It's Callum Chambers.
Yeah.
When he's gone in at right back, he's done well. When he's playing at centre back, he's done well. I really feel it for this guy, because just as your career's starting to get going at Arsenal, now you're out. You're going to have to rehabilitate. You might come back. By the time you come back, Arsenal might have bought a couple of players. You know what I mean?
It could be the end of his career.
It's hard. It's really hard for footballers.
Tough. It is tough.
You know what I mean? I know people always go on about how much money they make and that, but when you see situations like that where this guy now, all of a sudden, he's now bursting through. He's starting to show and bang. Out.
And he was clearly
6 to 9 months.
He was clearly in Mikel Arteta's thoughts as one of the main guys. So you're getting the trust of the new manager. He was becoming a very important player in the team because, as well as I said, he can play at right back as well. Yeah. He can fill in it, and now. Well, when we were talking about the central defensive area, he was the first name we were putting down.
Yeah.
That kind of just shows exactly how well he's done.
Get well soon, Callum Chambers.
Yeah, massively. But
now we need a centre back. We need a centre back.
I think we needed one before, but we need one even more.
We desperately need one. We're getting linked with a few. We were talking about it on Transfer Daily.
Doing that.
Let me talk about one of the ones that we've been heavily linked with. Jerome Boateng of Bayern Munich, 31 now, World Cup winner, but. I don't know. I've seen him recently. He's not the Jerome Boateng of old, but worth a punt from now to.
I would rather we kept our powder dry if we were gonna go and get someone. I know we got
Mancano. You like? I know,
I love the guy. Come on, man. Seriously, just go pay the money, man. Seriously,
He'd have to pay ridiculous money because Leipzig.
It's 50 million. It's 50 million, man. We're Arsenal Football Club.
I think they demand more than that.
It's around that,
right? Because he's got 18 months left.
Yeah, only 18 months. So you get to the end of the season and it's a year left. And then you're in dangerous territory where it's all of a sudden 25 million or so.
But Leipzig are very reluctant to sell him. Obviously they're top of the Bundesliga.
Of course they're reluctant to sell him.
They've got a chance in the Champions League still.
Of course they have. But we're Arsenal Football Club. Why should we not be looking at these calibre of players? Why? If we've got the opportunity, go and do it.
But Nathan Ake of Bournemouth. I really like him.
I like him, but I don't like the price tag because Bournemouth are going to look at ridiculous figures of about 70, 80 million. Yeah. You're looking at Virgil van Dijk money. Now, with all due respect to Nathan Ake, you're not Virgil van Dijk.
And the Maguire was 80 million.
Yeah, and he's worth £8. Jesus Christ.
I like Ake. I think Ake at a top club.
But is he worth 80 million?
No, but he's not worth 80 million, but...
How long's his contract?
Like Bournemouth. I think he's still got quite a long time to run on it. They don't have to sell.
They don't have to sell.
And they're in big trouble, as we know. They're in relegation trouble.
So, and plus, there's other suitors that are in for him. Chelsea are now back in the market.
Apparently they've got like a 40 million buyback clause.
That's what I mean.
That's why you see we're the only team that never does stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I think we do now, but it's just we don't. There have been players recently that we've heard that we could have bought back, but we turned around and not decided to. But at the end of the day, man, it's not for that kind of money, man. Not for 70s and 80s, man. If you're spending that kind of money, you've got to get a Virgil van Dijk. You need someone that's going to come in and be that man.
The price of centre-backs are inflated.
Yes, they are.
Do you remember, right? Like, centre-backs used to be cheap.
Yeah.
There's always strikers that would have, but now centre-backs is so few of the real top ones that, they go for mega money.
Yeah, and you're paying £80 million, like I said, for Harry Maguire. Really? Come on, man. Seriously.
You wouldn't have took him at Arsenal?
No, man.
Come on, man. You would have done.
No.
I would have took him. I know he had a poor game the other day. I would have took him.
He's had a poor season. He's poor. He's poor, man. He wouldn't have benefited us. He wouldn't have helped our distribution and the way we tried to play out from the back and that.
But he's a bit of a leader. I actually think that some of the players we're signing now, we need to be thinking about that. Players with a bit of leadership.
But if he can't actually play the style that we want to play.
That's why I like Ake.
But if he can't play the style that we want to play, what's the point in buying someone that's a leader but can't play the style of football you want to play? Manchester United were trying to play out from the back, and as soon as we started pressing him, he didn't know what he was doing. Lumping the ball out for throw-ins and all sorts. He was all over the place. Listen, you ask Man United fans, you ask Manchester United fans, and they'll tell you it's the worst £80 million they've spent. Worst £80 million. And, there will be comparisons because Liverpool spent less for Virgil van Dijk. But Virgil van Dijk is good on the ball.
But the market's inflated now since that Van Dijk.
So, Van Dijk was only 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, now
it's almost like the standard price if you want someone.
No, but Virgil van Dijk can play football. You remember him at Celtic? I watched it. This guy was
Maguire's nowhere near as good as Van Dijk.
Van Dijk was going up and taking 30-yard free kicks and putting them top bins for Celtic. The guy is a quality defender. But Harry Maguire's not that. I don't see the point in buying a player that can't play to your style. Upamecano, he can play out from the back. He's comfortable with the ball for a big guy. Anyone who watches Leipzig, they play football. They play out from the back. He's comfortable. He has that presence.
So for you, that Arsenal should be trying to break the bank this
all day.
January and go
all day. How long ago was I mentioning that guy's name?
You was. Since the
Do you know
last
what I
season.
mean? Him and Konate, the pair of them, either of them, but Upamecano is the one that impressed me the most. And from a year and a half, nearly 2 years ago, I was mentioning this guy's name and saying, that's who we should be going for. I would love to have a centre-back pairing of him and Saliba. And it also means that with some of the experience we've got there, that Saliba can break himself in gently.
All right, what about what else? We know we need centre backs. What else do we need in this window?
I would have said 2 weeks ago a right back, but right now Maitland-Niles is doing a job to say
if he continues that on,
if he continues that, you don't.
You could save a lot of money. Yeah,
we might need a backup right back.
What about
For him?
if Xhaka did go, we'd need a...
If he went, then we would need someone. But I honestly don't think he's going this month.
What about in the forward positions? There's been a lot of links to linking us to Thomas Lemar of Atletico Madrid.
I think that could bring us balance. I genuinely do.
We needed Thomas Lemar?
You know what? If what we're led to believe is true, which is a loan, what are you going to lose? You ain't got nothing to lose, have you?
Pushes back the development of Reece Nelson, though.
But then Reece it's kind of fits and starts with him.
No, but he's always going to be fits and starts.
No, I know that. But what I'm saying
somebody
is,
right in front of him all the time.
But what I'm saying is,
getting a run at the moment,
right?
Isn't it?
Look, Reece played really well for 60 minutes against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Right. Came on against Manchester United. And he flattered to deceive, in my opinion. He was the one that it was
like
tough.
You said, fits and starts.
I know it's tough.
Now,
but would you not like that experience and the depth? This is what I'm trying to say. Because
what I'm saying is Thomas Lemar, the reason why he became a success at Monaco is he's playing week in, week out. So if we go and we get a Thomas Lemar, who, remember, hasn't lit the place up at Atletico Madrid, has been very poor, been a bit of a waste of money for them, right?
There's a lot of players that have been to Atletico under Simeone that have not worked.
What if, right, if maybe we give Reece Nelson, one of our players, a run from now till the end of the season and say, yeah, go and show us what you can do. And
maybe.
You know, this is, look, you've seen Jadon Sancho, you know, these guys, they're playing time,
But then
don't
the club may have looked at it and said that, you know, you're not quite ready. We don't know what goes on in training. We don't know, you know, Mikel Arteta can say, yeah, it's fine, I can give him minutes and I can give him opportunities, but we need a bit of experience. We need strength and depth.
We need Lemar. I mean, I just want us to concentrate on the defence.
I think that he could give us balance. And if it's a loan, then it's fine because you're not wasting any money now. So if you've got the opportunity to have a loan, you know, why not? You know, it could be beneficial.
I think Atletico would like money. They're
talking about loan with the option to buy at the end of it. So if it's that, we took a loan deal with what was his name? Suarez, for example. Didn't work. Off you go. Didn't work. There you go. You know, and I don't see what the harm in it.
Okay, it'd be interesting to see what happens with Eddie in Ketia. Whether they're going to keep him on or whether they'll send him back out on loan.
Is he fit at the moment?
I think so.
Is he? I'll play him against Leeds on Monday.
No,
I would. Seriously, I would play him against Leeds because I thought he was doing really well at Leeds.
He was doing very well at Leeds.
But then
again, I think what it is with the Leeds thing, which annoyed Arsenal a bit, is that he's always on the bench.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, we want this guy to be playing week in, week out.
Before he picked up that injury, like 6 weeks or so ago, he was still
scoring a lot of goals.
He was still starting behind Bamford, who hadn't scored in about 2-3 months. And then Ketia was scoring every single week. And even Leeds fans were like, when's this boy going to start?
I think what it is with Arsenal, they want to see him.
Proper development.
There's loads of teams that want him. Loads of teams
But he's got to play every week.
So also like, well, let's send him to one of them teams where he's going to play all the time.
Well, the talk is Bristol City.
Yeah, there is talk.
And they were the ones that were initially in for him from the beginning. And at Bristol City, I think he will start every week. Yeah. And it'll be a good level for him to go and play for the next few months.
He's a natural goal scorer.
I just feel that before he goes, play him against Leeds. He'll know them defenders better than any of ours. He'll know them.
What about keeping him? We've got the Europa League still.
I know.
If we was to get through the FA Cup, we'd have that still. What about keeping him in? I mean, you saw how shattered those players were the other day. If we're going to be playing in that intensity in games, we're going to need more,
We've got Martinelli, who's come along.
Yeah. But that's it, isn't it? There's no other real striker that you could call upon. No. Should really have 4 strikers, shouldn't you?
You should do. I know that they've been...
John Jules has been stepping up in that, but...
He's got on the bench for the first time a couple of weeks ago. It's just... Would you rather, like if Eddie's here for the next 4 or 5 months for the rest of the season, how much game time will he honestly get? He won't really play in the Premier League.
But he'll get Europa League games?
I think we're getting to the point now where, and given the...
FA Cup?
Right, FA Cup, yes.
and you'd be
not
on
in
the
a
bench.
Carabao.
You got him on the bench as an option.
But would you
and
not?
you've got him
would
as
you
backup
not,
if there's any injuries.
Do you not think it'd be better for him to go somewhere for 4 months and play every single week?
For him personally, yes.
And for us, because he could come back better. Because he could come back firing to take a place next season. I also look at it
and I say, what if anything, the intensity that I see those guys playing at, what if Lacazette picks up a hamstring? What if Aubameyang's out for a bit?
What have I always said to you? What's the one thing I always said to you? That if my uncle... Do you know what I mean?
But you got to cover for. Yeah, but you know what? It's about planning. You got to cover for these things because also the fans will be the first ones to say, "What do we do?
But
we sending Nketiah out on loan. Now we got no strikers. Why did we do that?
Yeah, but
sack the board."
But I don't think anyone moaned when he went out on loan initially. I think it was the right thing.
But I
think it was the right thing to do, and I think the right thing to do again would be to send him out on loan for the remainder of the season,
possibly.
And then because you know there is talk about Aubameyang at the end of the season or Lacazette. So if Eddie goes off for 4 months or so, smashes a whole bag full of goals, he can then come back in next season and look to stake his place within the first team. And he's going into it full of confidence, knowing he can score goals. And it's a lot tougher and rougher in the lower leagues than it is the Premier League. You know? And
Well, we're going to be up against one of those teams, Leeds.
Monday flying,
looking forward to it. Remember the last time we played Leeds in the FA Cup?
Thierry Henry. That was the only
moment.
I'll tell you now, that's one of the only times, like, apart from winning trophies, where I've genuinely cried.
It's an unbelievable moment, wasn't it?
It was. You couldn't write that script.
No, even the goal. It was like
it was Henry.
It was an Henry goal.
It's like when anyone scores goals like that, even to this day, people compare it to Henry.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as there's a beautiful touch in the box, people compare it to Bergkamp. It's like that was Henry's trademark. You knew where he was putting it. He would telegraph where he was putting it, but you ain't stopping it. It's like an Iron Robin shot.
I think that's one of the best. I mean, what a beautiful moment in football.
Mate, it was just awesome. Mad. And then even the fact that he run down the wing and jumped into Wenger's arms, and that was just a moment. That was
brilliant. It's brilliant.
That for me is just one of the moments of the last decade.
Yeah.
Should we
now,
say?
of course, up against Leeds, it's going to be really interesting to see what sort of team we play, and them as well.
Because they're flying.
They're flying. They're going for
they're top of the championship.
Yeah, they missed out on it last season.
So their priority
might be that. I think they'll have a mixture, but I think and again they've had that busy, ridiculous Christmas program that we've also had. Arsenal expect, there'll be no Aubameyangs and Lacazettes and people like that in that team, will
Do you know what? They might be on the bench, you know. I think we've
maybe been... a Pepe?
Do you know what? I think we've been quite fortunate with our fixtures over Christmas, to be honest.
Two of the big ones are at home.
No, there's been gaps between them. Like there was 1 day's rest and then a game.
No, but we had less rest than Man United.
No. But what I mean is that we played Bournemouth and then there was a day's rest and then a lot of teams were playing the following day. We had an extra day to play Chelsea,
and we got the Monday game.
And then we got the Monday game. But then when we got Manchester United, a lot of teams were playing over 12:30, 3 p.m. We got night time. So it meant things were not as rigid New Year's Eve night. And Arteta had... Did you see that Arteta had them training?
Yeah.
On the morning of the game?
Yeah.
He must have got round to knocking on all their doors on New Year's Day morning. Right, lads, training, come on. And they're all like, well, fucking game tonight. Come on, out you get. And then we've got the weekend off. We go into it Monday. And I said this to you after the game in my fan cam that I feel that a break from the Premier League is possibly what we need right now. Just that mentally, just to get away from the Premier League.
Got to rest up players. To me, players like Lacazette, who was out on his feet.
I think that
players
he'll get
like
rest.
Ozil, players like
Martinelli might be back.
Martinelli should be back.
Good opportunity.
Maybe Eddie, like you said. Maybe Eddie.
It'd be Rob
John Jules. Holding. Mustafi.
Maybe Saka can continue at left back.
Yeah.
Not risk Kolasinac. Maybe this is an opportunity for Bellerin to get minutes. Yeah. Martinez in goal. Yeah. Got no problem with that.
Yeah. Mustafi.
No.
Actually, you know what? The funny thing is, obviously they're trying to sell him as well. So will they play Mustafi?
Listen, the more you play Mustafi,
in a game
the more you play him, the less his price is going to go down. Dear Lord. But Guendouzi, it's an opportunity. Joe Willock.
Yeah,
it's an opportunity. Reece Nelson.
Yeah,
it's an opportunity.
And to be fair to those guys, they've done well in the in the Europa League.
Yeah, and Emil Smith-Rowe.
Emil Smith-Rowe, of course. Yeah.
But then
another guy could
be used as a make weight in Upper Meccano.
Yeah, I heard that.
That could be. Go there for a year or 18 months, whatever they decide to do.
Should be a good game, though. I mean, Leeds will bring. I heard they're bringing about 9,000.
Yeah, that's
no
doubt about
I want to see Leeds back in the Premier League, man. That's a big club, man. I mean,
we had some serious.
We used
battles.
to have some serious games with Leeds.
I remember when we played Leeds.
Remember Viduka?
Mate, I'm even going before that. I remember the FA Cup battles before there used to be, like only one replay.
Yeah.
Now, back then it was play until you end up. And I remember going to Ellen Road.
Ellen Road used to be hostile to go to.
Man, I remember going there and then coming back to. I think there was one game in particular. We played at Highbury and we drew 2-2. Merson scored an absolute screamer. And we went to Ellen Road. And then we were losing, and Wrighty scored, and then we've come back to the Highbury again, and oh my God, some of the battles were epic against Leeds, battles, man.
Leeds are a Premier League team.
Yeah, they're a big club. They've got a massive fan base, huge fan base.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that game. That should be good. And glad to hear Mikel Arteta saying he's going to take it seriously, the FA Cup.
This is why I said maybe some of those players are on the bench.
Yeah, and maybe as well, this is again the Arteta factor in that he's played for Arsenal. He said he remembers those moments of winning the FA Cup and stuff like that. He goes, he'd like to be back there. So
yeah, why not?
Again, his communication, how he's dealing with the players, it's all looking good at the moment after the first three games.
Man City final.
Wow. I'd want to avoid that.
Mikel v Pep.
It's going to be interesting when he comes up against Pep. But I think
it will be. That'd be that. Our first away game against one of the big sides is where I want to see the test because where
we've not done well
crumble,
against any of them.
And that's how I want to see, the way he navigates it.
Well, we've got one coming up soon, Chelsea.
Yeah, we're playing. We've got a double header with them. Early, what's that? Jesus
Marks
Christ.
out of 10 so far for Arteta. Before we go here,
what's he got? 4 points out of 9. Ideally, we could have beaten Bournemouth. Could have seen it out against Chelsea. I would say a solid 7.
Yeah, I give him a 7 as well. I think I've been very encouraged by what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
And you know what? He said, one of the things he said is he wants to get the fans on side. And I think at the moment he's got us on side.
Yeah.
One thing the fans wanted to see was this team working hard. And he's definitely achieved that so far.
Yeah.
And as well, a fair bit of skill as well, and he's getting the best out of the players at the moment.
Massively.
I also, the test is going to be, we've got to continue this on.
We've got to beat Crystal Palace, because if we don't beat Crystal Palace, then everyone will start going.
And I think in this January, the board, like the fans are getting behind him, the board need to get behind him as well. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do. Will they get an Upper Meccano done, or get him a very good defender, or is it going to be
surely the reason why these negotiations took so long that week? Surely Arteta was saying, right, tell me what you're going to give me in January. What you're going to let me go out and spend. What can I do? Do I need to get rid of this player first before I can get that one? Or that would have been part of the conversation. It would have been. So you've got to look at it and say that they've said that they will give him something to help. Whether that's we've got to get rid of someone to get someone, or I don't know.
Well, we'll see. Listen, thanks for watching and listening to the podcast today. Don't forget you can download it on all the usual formats. The link is in the description. Also, a link in the description for the tickets for the Blood Brothers final that's coming up. Don't forget to check out Blood Brothers. It's been brilliant, featured right throughout December. And it's been absolutely fantastic series. And check out Transfer Daily as well. But thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. And once again, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope that you have a prosperous new year, a new year of good health. And let's hope it's a good year for Arsenal Football Club.